Hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us here on TV47 at the Day's Counter. And once again, happy Jamhuri Day. I'd love to hear where you're celebrating your Jamhuri from. You can send in text messages on 22047. And I am Lucy Riley. Have a guest who is the manager and also designer of Elegante Gents. And Elegante Gents is a men's bespoke suits brand that has specialized in making business suits, wedding suits, dinner suits, two-piece suits, three-piece suits, customized African print shirts, and selling official shirts as well as lapel pins. And he will tell us a little bit more about it. So karibu sana Bwana Wachira Mwangi Martin. How are you doing?
I'm very fine.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the invite.
You are welcome. Happy Jamhuri. I would love to hear, what did you do today that was, special and unique, other than, us, we're here working.
Okay. As for me, basically, on holidays, I don't usually consider as an off day.
Right.
I'm at the workshop.
Right.
So today was no extra. It was just the same
Right.
schedule. From Monday till today, it has been at the workshop only.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, well, first of all, you look really, really elegant, and
Thank you
just as
very
the name
much.
of your business suggests.
Yes.
Speak to me a bit about your business, when you actually started, and what's the vision behind Elegante Gents?
Okay. So, Elegante Gents, it's an Italian word. This means something that is classy, stylish, and of high quality. So I started the brand in the year 2016, and the reason why I started the brand is because I realized that there is a problem in the men's suits industry. So mostly my friends, I usually noticed that what they bought from the stores as the ready-made suits, they were not actually of the quality that they were looking for. And on my side, they usually liked how I usually used to dress.
Yeah.
Because all my suits were customized from scratch.
Right.
So I started the brand Elegante so as to solve that problem.
Right.
So as to offer them suits which are of high qualities, which are stylish, and they're value for the money.
Right. And you talked about it's an Italian word. I don't know if you have any connections or a preference to Italy, or it's just something that, you wrote down and decided on that name.
Actually, speaking of that,
Yes.
I consider our style of tailoring suits the Italian way, because we have the Italian and the British style.
What's the difference?
For the Italian suits, they're usually more fitting, and if you consider the fit of the suit, this V, when you wear a suit, there's
Yes.
a V-like shape here.
Right.
So for the Italian suits, they're usually more fitting,
Yes.
but for the British is more like, let's say, loose compared to the Italian. And even the trousers of the Italian suits, they're more fitting and a bit shorter compared to
the British.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So you've talked to me about you used to design and tailor make your own suits. Is it something that you studied before getting started with, or is it just an interest that you developed and learned online?
Actually, in university, I did Bachelor of Commerce. So for the design part of it, I
Right.
used to take time out of my busy schedule in school,
Yeah.
go to the tailors who are my friends, and learned the art slowly by slowly.
Right.
So after I finished my degree, I
Right.
decided to go and hire tailors who would actualize all the designs that I had in mind,
Right.
so as to satisfy the customer's need and also live up to the business promise that we have for the client.
Right.
Yes.
Since 2016 until now, you realized a gap then, and perhaps now you see more loopholes and more gaps now.
Yes.
What can you say are the gaps that are already existing in the market for anyone who wants to still get in the same space that you're in?
Okay. One of the gaps is that to provide suits for hire. So that is one that I've got from many clients. The clients, maybe they look at the budget, they cannot afford a suit.
Right.
Then they come to me asking, can you hire suits? But for me right now, I'm not hiring suits. So I believe that's one gap
Okay.
that people can go into.
Yes.
Another one is making of the customized shirts and trousers.
Right.
Because mostly the men, they want to change their style. Actually, the modern man right now in Kenya
Right.
wants a style that is consistent, and he needs to keep on changing. Let's say if he has decided his style is the customized shirts and trousers.
Right.
You see, he cannot keep on wearing the same every day, and it's something that is affordable to him, because for a suit, once you decide to buy a suit, you have to really look at your budget. So by the time you're buying another suit, it may take long. But for the customized shirts and trousers, it's more easier because it's cheaper, And actually, it can be more stylish because you have more say on how you want the shirt to look like.
Yes.
You want you want the trouser to look like. So I believe there's also a gap in that side.
Right. Now we're talking about budget and costs of buying all these things.
Yes.
So one, talk to me about how much it took to set up such a business, buying the material, hiring the, your personnel and your team to work for you, and also talk to me about how much it costs. What range really, if anyone wants to buy from you, what is the range of a really good suit that's tailor-made to their exceptions? Are there ranges on that kind of thing? What's the kind of money implications?
Okay, so starting out, I started with my personal savings. So at the start, I didn't really go and buy, first of all, the machines, the tailoring machines.
Right.
So I first of all used to dress myself. So from the orders that I got, I used to save from the profits I get.
Right.
So as time went by, I had enough capital. So for a machine, I had around 50,000.
Yeah.
To buy a machine.
Right.
So as time goes by, I decided to add another and another.
And another, yeah.
Yeah. So right now, it's all about looking at how I can grow the brand.
Right.
Because I cannot say that the brand is where I want it to be, because the vision is that we want to set up shop in Nairobi, in Kisumu, and maybe in Mombasa in the future.
Right.
So when it comes to the pricing of the suit, mostly our suits range from 7,500
Yeah.
up to 20,000.
Right.
Now this pricing is based on the fabric that we use or the design. So
Right.
if the fabric is of a higher quality, the more expensive the suit is.
Okay.
If it's lower, the more cheaper it is.
Right.
Yes.
And this is quite in an affordable range. So talk to me about your target audience or your target market. Really, who are the people who you find buying the suits the most? And what kind of profit margins do you return? Is it 20%? Is it 100% of the profits from once you've invested, you've bought the fabrics, and then now you actually sell the suit?
So most of the clientele that come to us, these are the working class people. And even mostly we find even using university students
Yes.
who are about to finish their degree, because at that moment it's when they're starting to look up for attachments out there.
Right.
You see,
Yeah.
so those people who are in university, most of them end up being our clients even after getting into the job market. When you talk about the profit margin, mostly it's usually around 30% of the cost that we charge.
Right.
Yes.
I've seen here online that you design 2-piece suits, 3-piece suits, and I really, perhaps maybe it's because I'm a female that I can't quite know what's the difference between these types of suits. I mean, if you have one suit, isn't it good enough to just go to all the events with them and still your job interview with? And perhaps, when you're dressing for an interview, should you dress a different way from when you're going to a wedding and from when you're looking for a 3-piece or a 2-piece? So really run me through the differences and why it's so important to know the type of suit you're wearing for the occasion you're going to.
First of all, speaking of the 2-piece and the 3-piece suit. So
Right.
a 2-piece suit is a suit which has a coat and a trouser only.
Okay.
Speaking of a 3-piece suit, it's that one which has a coat, a waistcoat, and a trouser.
Right.
So it depends on the occasion that you're dressing up for. So if you're going to work, we usually have 3 main colors which are considered official. So you have the black, we have the gray, and we have the navy blue. Speaking of the weddings, see, our wedding can be more diverse because it depends on what the client wants.
Right.
So here comes a groom, he wants a suit. So most of the times the groom comes with a style that he has in mind. Or if he is clueless, we usually advise
Right.
the kind of suit to use.
Right.
So speaking of the type of suits, let's say when going for an interview, I usually advise, or it's internationally acceptable to wear a navy blue suit for an interview. This is because the navy blue color conveys trust, wisdom, and responsibility.
Wow, I don't think I even knew this.
Yes.
So is this navy blue from the coat to the trouser, head to toe, or is it only the shirt inside? What exactly do you mean when you say wear navy blue?
Actually, it's a 2-piece mostly.
Okay.
The coat and the
And the
trouser,
trouser.
they have to be matching.
Right.
Yeah, so on the
Alright.
shirt, mostly it's important for you to wear a white shirt.
Right.
And maybe a striped tie. At least that way, you won't have shouting colors.
Right.
Because here is a case, someone has gone to an interview with a yellow suit. See, there is too much attention that you're seeking on what
Right.
you have dressed. But a navy blue suit, once you're there in the interview room, actually you look more confident. You look like-minded. Yeah. So yeah.
That's a good secret that you've actually told the audience who are at home now. When you're going for that interview, you should actually wear a navy blue suit. And perhaps later on you can tell me what the black and the gray suit represent. But I want you to mention what's the toughest thing and the hardest thing about being in this business that a lot of people don't see when they're going in. They've laid out all the plans, put the money aside, have the team together, but then you really don't foresee this as a big challenge, and it can set you back even financially and even with your time that you spent in designing and creating your suit. So what's the hardest thing and the most challenging thing about being in this space?
So speaking of the difficulties, one of the difficulties is that pricing, because you find that the other industry players who come into the industry and they undercharge. See, now maybe a client may think that you're overcharging,
right?
But when you sit down with the client and explain to them that it's about quality, at least they get to understand. But from face value, most clients usually go for the cheaper suits.
Right.
So at the end of the day, maybe they end up getting frustrated, and eventually they come back to us because we usually offer the quality, the best according to what is there in the industry. Another challenge can be when you hire a workforce which is not well informed or which is not qualified, especially the tailors.
Right.
So that can really mess on someone very much, because that will spoil your reputation.
Right.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, your brand will just die.
Yeah.
It
You're going to add another challenge. Sorry, cut you short.
Those are the two
main
major
challenges.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Just from the top of your head, who are three people that you consider they dress very, very well, their suits are very well tailor-made, and perhaps you look up to them or you would want to dress them? Three people, either internationally or locally, being that you are a designer and that you do own your own fashion business, especially dressing. So off of the top of your head, three people whom either you look up to and you think that they dress very well, those are good suits, I'd like to design suits for them, or perhaps they're designers, I'd like to work with their designers, whoever dressed them. Anyone from the top of your head?
So speaking of internationally, there's this designer from United States.
Yes.
His name is Davison Freire. He also has his brand, and I usually like how fitting his suits are. Actually, he inspires me a lot. And also, there's this other one from the UK. It's called Gabriel Akinosho.
Yes.
He's also a very good designer.
Yes.
So coming to the local industry, most of the people who I like how they dress, especially this, one of them is a student. Okay, he's not really known.
Yes.
He's my friend.
Yeah.
And I usually like his style. So I usually like, maybe in future I can make suits for him. Yeah, and also speaking of locally, there is Ashok Sani.
Yes.
He's a very good designer.
Okay.
Yeah, and I usually like how he does his work.
Right.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes. And so, because we're about to come to the end of this interview and it's very unfortunate, I just want to know what are the future plans that definitely you have as a business person, and especially in this space of tailor making and designing, and then the designs. Who inspires you to, or what is your inspiration behind maybe the different designs, colors, the unique edge that you might be adding onto the suits that you make as Elegante Gents?
Okay. So future plans, it's to create more employment opportunities, especially for the upcoming designers and also the tailors here in Kenya, because I believe there are many skilled tailors. It's just that they don't have the platform to showcase their work. And also, one thing that I'd like as a brand is to add more workshops of Elegante Gents. So right now we have one workshop, but in the future we are looking to open new workshops around Nairobi. Then later on we may try another city, you see.
Yeah.
So another thing is we're also looking forward to explore the international markets. Yeah, it's not a must for someone to be here so that we can make them a suit. If someone sees our work and is maybe in the US, we can find a way on how to make them a suit and also export it back to them.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
And so on social media, how can one find you?
Okay, so we are in Instagram. So in Instagram, the brand name is Elegante_Gents. Elegante_Gents.
Is it a capital G and a capital E, or it's all underscore, or it'll appear?
So for the E, it's Elegante, capital E,
Yeah.
and the Gents, capital G,
Right.
with an underscore at the center. But in Facebook, there's no underscore.
Right.
It's Elegante Gents.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So you did, just as we finished, you did mention that you initially were studying commerce,
Yes.
and then now you are a fashion designer and you are the CEO of your own business. And so a lot of young people usually have this dilemma of when they're transitioning from high school into university, and from university into the work space or the job market, or even just being into business. So what is something that you can tell them that is the spark behind why you decided to go from commerce into specifically designing, and what should young people really follow? Do you tell them, look at what your background is and then go that line? Do you tell them perhaps follow your passion? What is it that you can actually advise and point them in that direction, even though they're studying one thing and might have an interest in another area?
So right now we have a problem. First of all, you find that people graduate and they end up not getting jobs. Most of these people, you find that they're talented in various areas, but they have the fear of stepping out or going into exploring that talent. So I believe it's more of the culture which is in Kenya. We have been taught that once you finish school, you're supposed to go and get employed, and you find that most of the people who are in employment, they have good qualities of starting a business. Maybe you find that someone has a mind of being a stylist. Find that someone can
Right.
also be good in tailoring,
Yes.
or maybe hair making. So the good thing that I kind of advise people is that follow your passion.
Right.
And it's also good to start when in university also, so that by the time you're coming out here,
Right.
it's easier for you to start a business by your own.
Yeah.
And I believe there are many organizations out here which are willing to help people
Right.
who are starting a business.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, phenomenal. Thank you so much, Mr. Wachira Mwangi Martin.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that's all the time I had with you for today. I've been your host, Lucy Riley, and my takeaway from this interview has been wear a navy blue suit, two-piece suit when you go for your interview, because it portrays confidence, it portrays boldness, and you're calm, cool, and collected, and you're likely to get the job. So see you tomorrow, same time, same place. This has been the Day's Counter.